Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this webinar, Finnish Way of Promoting Sustainable Mobility by Sara Lukkarinen. My name is Frederike Demmers, and I'm the moderator of today. First, of course, welcome to our presenter, Sara Lukkarinen, which you see on the left side of me. And also welcome to our participants. See, everybody is getting in, so that's really great. Yeah, we have a lot of countries represented, more than 10, so that's really great. Well, first, let me introduce Sara to you all. Sara has worked with different mobility aspects during the last 10 years, and she's now working as an expert on mobility management and sustainable mobility at Motiva. State-owned company Motiva runs the national coordination of mobility management in Finland. And Sara will tell you about building up the national framework, the coordination and brand for workplace mobility management. Sara, the floor is yours. You can start with your presentation.
Thank you, Frederick. So welcome again on behalf of me as well. And I will have this very wide topic today, but especially now with focusing with the workplace mobility management. And as Frederick told you that I come from Motiva. And just a few words about it. So basically we are a state-owned company working with the resource efficiency project. And working especially with the major clients are the public administration and ministries and so on. But on the field of mobility management, we are working as a national coordinator. And today, I will tell you just simply how the mobility management is organized in Finland in general, what that does mean that we are the national coordinator of mobility management. And then I will tell you a few words about the trends and policies that are now ongoing in Finland, and then I will mainly focus this: how have we now built up the national framework for mobility management for workplaces, and how we have built up the national coordinator meeting for this theme. And now we have been this year done the branding for the work, and I will tell some more about that and just a few next steps we are now working with. So this will be the theme today and the topics I'm going to go through. And as said, feel free to send your questions, and I will then answer them when it's a good timing. So basically, first, a few words about the national coordination of mobility management. And basically, the national mobility management work in Finland has been organized as followed. So the Ministry of Transport and Communication orders the work, and the Finnish Transport Agency is the one that carries the responsibility, guides, and finance the actions. And Finnish Transport Agency now has Motiva as a coordinator for the national mobility management work. And of course, we have a really good and really wide regional and local mobility management work also, but this is the way how it has been organized in Finland. And as far as I know, this is quite rare to have it organized in this way, that there is really a national coordinator for this mobility management work. And for the regional and local mobility management work, this is a bit old map I have here. The last one has been 2014, but we have had some projects after that as well. But basically, we have had as a finance, there has been some R&D programs going on lately, last year's financed by many actors such as ministries. And also since 2012, there has been the state subsidized for mobility management work, which is now approximately like 1 million euro that is divided for different regions every year. And this is the way it is financed, the mobility management work in Finland. Of course, there's other programs and other works and other projects going on in daily places, and the regions also finance the work. But this is in general the background for the mobility management in Finland. And as for the mobility management coordinator, the work Motiva is doing, it has been set a target last year that not less, that not more, we try to make smart mobility as a phenomenon. And that means basically that we have to work with many different levels. We have to work with the social level, we have to work with the industry level and the user levels to really make it as a phenomenon. And this means that it's not only creating the reputation, but it's also creating like common opinion around this team to really make it like as a phenomenon. And the good thing is that I can basically say that in Finland at the moment, the common opinion around this team is getting better. So it's a lot of discussion about promoting cycling and the amount of cyclists, for example, in the Helsinki region are racing and so on. So there's a lot of discussion going on around this team. I will tell some more about that soon. But this is the background. And then few words about the trends and policy, that what is like guiding the work of the mobility management and promoting sustainable mobility. So basically, we have a strong and old history of the traffic safety, and it has been a really important, and it is still a really important thing when talk about traffic and transport. And there's really powerful actors that really are promoting the safety issues. So that's really a common thing to speak. And there is a lot of like plans that has been done for the traffic safety in the regions. And now lately also the sustainable mobility team has been included to these plans in some of those. But at the same time, since a few years, also the health is getting more on focus. So when promoting sustainable mobility, we also now include health things. And the reason for that one is that this is one just number that really we have a lot of deaths related to physical inactivity in Finland, like 10% of all deaths, and that means that it costs a lot of money, the inactivity, for the nation and for Finland every year. It's been calculated. It's something like 3 to 4 100 millions or even million euros. So it's a lot of money. And this is also something that now is getting more to the arguments and also to the actors that are working in the field. So it's also the health things getting related. And what has been just one detail that we talk a lot, like there has been saying that sitting down kills you, and this has a lot to do with the transport as well. It's about how do you move to work. You have so many daily possibilities to sit down, so there is also a role for the transport, especially for the trips to work that we can now work with and give also these health aspects. And what is in Finland, I said it's not all about, but you can maybe say it's all about now. We talk about in the transport policy things about mobility as a service, and huge trend going on. That means like that you will have the mobility, all the mobility things, all kind of modes, all kind of these things. It's more thought about as a service that is given for the customers. And that has a lot to do with the digitalization, with the open data, automated vehicles, and this kind of things. And there is going on now some simplifying the norms and the legislation. There's a transport code that is prepared in Finland, and that will also help to unify the information and create new transport services and mobility services. So this kind of things that is like in the background when I soon explain you that how we have built up this team for the plan for the transport mobility management for the companies. And then there is many national policies as well. This is just few examples, but they have things. We have a national strategy for walking and cycling, and there's these climate and energy things in the background that affects also the world and makes the background for the work. But just to mention that compared to some other countries in Europe, we have no policies or legislation that would, like for example, force the companies to make workplace mobility management or travel plans or anything like that. So basically there is no no legislation or policies for that. So this is the case. We have strong support for the sustainable mobility work from many policies. We have strong support or good background from the three teams and trends that are going on, just as the health and these kind of things. And this is where we can kind of like have our back on when planning this workplace mobility management work. So I now will go to the main topic of my presentation today. I just looked my topic here, and it has the coordination word in the wrong place, but let's not focus on that. So basically now I will tell you how from this background we started to build the framework for the national coordinator work for the mobility management at workplaces. So how we basically thought that how in the national level we could create the environment so that it would be easy for the let's say the service providers to make travel plans for the companies and even get the companies their awareness raised for this topic. And it started from the one of the ideas from the Finnish Transport Agency, that they pointed out that the workplaces are a really important target group, and that should be something that we should focus on in the following years. And now this was included, these workplaces, to the work of our mobility management national coordinator. So basically, since starting from this year, a lot of our work has been now targeted only for the workplaces and the workplace mobility management. And that means that that in general that we don't go to these companies and do the work with the companies. No, that's for the regional actors and that's for the services. But what we do is we try to create the environment that create like I said, we have a huge target making the smart mobility as a phenomenon. So we kind of try to make it so the basic idea that the companies and workplaces, they are getting interested in this topic. And now I will tell you how we have kind of like, how have we thought about this thing.
Okay, our first question, Sarah, from René Theeuwen, and he asks, is health the most important trigger for mobility management in Finland?
Well, I would say that we have used it a lot. We have used a lot the health thing lately, because it was something kind of like new and seems to be quite something that, for example, in the workplace, it was kind of like getting a lot of interest on this topic, and
Yeah.
and it also like it brings in some new actors that haven't worked with this team or have worked with this team, but not in the sustainable mobility point of view. So yeah, it has been, but also of course environment, which I just said it's in a policy level, but of course that's a really important thing as well.
Yeah, and probably for companies, they have other triggers to go for mobility management. I mean, of course, they care for the environment and health, but well, probably. But you'll probably say that.
I will explain that more on. But that was the basic thing we were thinking. Also from the company point of view, we're thinking that maybe the health, and we've known from the background, know from the companies and regional actors that already had work with workplaces, that these things are mattering. It's a right range, but I will tell you some more about that soon.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
But there weren't any other questions? No, I can continue. So basically, this workplace mobility management, like I mentioned, a lot has already been done. There are private actors, there are regional actors working with the companies, and we had also in the national level, we had some project already. We have been done some materials, and from the regional work, I could mention there's a Helsinki Region Transport. They are doing a lot with the workplaces. They, for example, have this commuting calculator that companies can use to survey the way the employees are traveling to work, what kind of modes they use. by the way, it has a demo also in English in the web page in case you're interested. And then there is one picture of one campaign or one project that was in Turku region in Finland, that they have this kind of trials of bikes. But so a lot has already been done. We haven't started from a scratch, but we started from a scratch the way we have thought about how we can promote in the national level. And one of the materials that had been done already, we have this, sorry, this is in Finnish, but a lot to translate. But this is a web page called Fiksusti töihin, which means the smart way to go to work, that has been done a few years ago. And basically it gives the employer the basic facts about what is the smart mobility and some effects, especially the health effects that it has, and some practical information what you can do in the workplace. And then there's a small survey which gives you a basic idea that in what point your company is in related to smart mobility. So this has also been created beforehand. And for this project, it was also very important that it was financed and guided by health actor, transport safety actor, well, the Finnish Transport Agency, who is basically good, you could say that takes everything in account, and the Helsinki Region Transport, who gave like the local idea. So it was getting all these kind of different aspects also when we have been done this web page. So it makes, I think it's really important to have all these kind of thoughts and ideas and the ways to look at things, to getting them common and give the message so that it has many ways to look the big picture. And one reason also why it's important, and what we haven't realized, that when working with the workplace is you never know who will be the person in the workplace who is going to be interested in this topic and who would guide this topic. It can be something to do with personal, and it can be something to do with the environmental things and so on. So it's also different from the workplace, who is the one who is responsible of these things. And we have been, like I meant, we have been using really different kind of arguments. We have been using arguments that are like something to do with the health or something to do with the costs and so on, and the environment. And we have been already used like a lot of points like health and environment and so on. And when we started to build this national framework and national coordinator work, we also look for the international examples. And here's just few things we looked. There are more, I think, but and I don't now go in details. But you can find somewhere there has been in Denmark. There was a Formula M, kind of a bit similar kind of thing already, but if I understood right, it ended a few years ago. And there's in Australia, there is something related to this kind of national works, also in Ireland. And in Netherlands, there have been the smart mobility kind of framework that is now this even bigger picture, the Better Benutten. And then there is some guidelines and so on in some other countries as well, but we also try to look for examples from abroad. And putting all this together, and we looked and went through at what are the starting points for the work, for the national coordinator work. And we looked that we have really some target groups, which are like the stakeholders, service providers, the workplaces, and of course the employee. And then we looked at we have a lot of different aspects, like I mentioned, not only safety, environment, and health, but there is like the image, there's like the savings, there's the well-being, there is like coping at work, the responsibility things, and also like quality of life. And so it's a bunch of things that you could include in this work. And then there is also the idea, which is in the picture on the right corner. Down there is like that we like to promote this thing that taking all the different transport modes in account. And there is like car sharing, carpooling, of course, cycling, walking, public transportation. But also in the middle there is the guy with the lamp. That means that the idea of teleworking, idea of making going the same way when you go to work, you go to shopping, and this kind of things. And also this kind of mobility as a service aspect. So this was the huge bunch of things we had in the starting point, but we kind of realized that we have so much things, and there's still a lot of things that we kind of like guessing that is it like savings that matter for the companies, or is it the safety, or what is that? So we kind of understood that something needs to be done to really clear this picture up and not guessing what is important, just ask them what is important. So what we are doing during this year, first of all, we have trying to survey the operational environment of the workplace mobility management. So we did a market survey. I will tell more about it soon for the employers. And then we have been writing the present state of workplace mobility management in Finland that now we have been sending to all the relevant stakeholders and the service providers to give their opinion on it. And the point for the present state of workplace, it's telling many of the things which I now told you about what are kind of trends and policy are the effect, or even more things related to those, but also telling about the results of the market survey and this kind of thing. And it can be used as a tool for all the actors. And also we are now we have now recognized all the relevant stakeholders. I will tell something about more soon. And now we're going to do a campaign in the end of this year to collect the best examples. And at the same time, we have been trying to support the different kind of actions. So we have done the communication, we have tried to market different kind of services there are, and we have tried to activate the discussion. And using social media and spreading the existing materials and meeting the relevant stakeholders, these kind of things we have now done. And as a big events this year, we did one event for employers, and now there's going to be other event for the labor market organization. There's another project going on that is trying to focus on the surveying the ideas of the labor market organization towards the sustainable mobility. So these are the things, and now I will tell you more about this market survey and the branding especially.
Yeah, Sarah, just a small question at first. The market survey is focused on the company, so the employees. No, the employers, I mean.
Employers, yes.
The employers. Yeah. And is it in the communication also?
The communication we are kind of doing widely.
Okay.
We try to focus mainly the companies, but the campaign, for example, is for the companies.
Okay.
But in the same time we connect, like let's say we coordinate the European Mobility Week. We can use that to also to connect with the employees, and we also communicate with for the stakeholders as well, like sending like with this current state document. And so it's different. We try to focus to all these different kind of target groups we have.
Okay, and Marie Jussi asked, how many people have you working on this specific workplace mobility management issues in Motiva?
How many we are?
Well, specifically on workplace mobility management, working on that subject.
How many we are? Well, not many. It's basically me and one colleague, and then we have the communication department when there are some people.
Yeah.
But the idea that it is kind of like it's just part of our national coordinator work, and the basic idea is like we do this kind of things to promote the work of the ones who really do the work with the workplaces, which are not us, but which are the service providers and the different stakeholders.
Okay. And another question from René. He asked, what is the share of cars in the average model split? What's the goal?
what's the goal? Well, there's not a specific goal. The share of cars in difference in the many cities. I had in my previous slide. There's one slide which gives you some idea of the share of the car, but it's a big in Finland in basically, but not compared to all the cars. But let's say that in the Helsinki region, for example, the share of car, there's something I would say something with between 20 to 30. But there's public transport is really good. But here it's really important, especially in the case of Finland, that all the time when we are discussing these things, we are doing this national level work. We have to think about the geographical state, which is that we have really different kind of regions, and they have really different kind of ways they can use public transportation. So it's really wide, and you have to think all these things through all the time you are working with them. So yeah.
Okay, you can move on.
So basically about the market survey, I will go it quickly through one of the key things we found. But basically it was targeted for the decision maker, and it was financed by the Finnish Transport Agency, and we did it in a cooperation of this one research firm. This is specialized on this kind of research. And the target was really to really find what is the attitude of the decision makers in the companies and municipalities towards the promoting of sustainable mobility, and really define, really not making any assumptions, not guessing what would be the things that would be in their interest, but just really ask. And we kind of learned in this thing that we are quite sure, we think we are quite sure about that what they are interested, but still we can learn from this, really making the market survey and really ask. And in the total we got participating, we got a bit more over 400 answers, and mostly they are CEOs, like the head of the companies, and which we were really happy that we got the answer from that level. And yeah, what we learned, really not to make any assumptions. And the other thing is like really explain the things, what is actually sustainable mobility and what is really the workplace mobility management. We didn't even actually try to explain the workplace mobility management, but really do even explain the sustainable mobility and explain what means the work trip and so on. So for findings we got, first of all, it was really great to find out that most of the companies found it that they are interested in sustainable mobility, that they found it important, at least somehow important, the promoting sustainable mobility in the company. And that was a really good starting point. And what I mentioned earlier, like all these different kind of aspects, we asked them that what they think are the most important benefits that can be achieved promoting sustainable mobility. And what came into the top was the well-being and the health benefits. We kind of thought that would be important, of course, but we were a bit surprised that it was really so much high up. And also the reduction of CO2. The company who made us a survey, who had done this kind of surveys also beforehand, they said that it was really quite high up this topic. Normally it's not so high up, this reduction of CO2, like environmental issues, but with this topic it was really quite high up. And there is the other things as well, doing with the traffic flow and these kind of things. And we kind of thought that the improving the image of the company would be a bit higher up, but it ended up getting quite low percentage of the answers. And also what kind of surprised us was the traffic safety issue. But because we were kind of thinking that because it has a really strong background, and of course it's really important thing, the traffic safety, that it could be seen quite easily as one of the most important aspects. So this was one of the really important findings I think we found, like this picture of the things that the employers are interested in. And then we asked them what kind of measures they had been done. this didn't this didn't kind of surprise us. So basically, travel plans for the company was done really a short percent of the firms. But actually, that means that there's a lot of like potential, let's say, for the companies who would like to do the travel plans, and for the service providers who would like to do the travel plans for the companies. So there's a potential. And then there's other things like we asked for the financial support for walking or cycling, or the public transport ticket. There is a taxation thing in Finland that you get kind of you can give your employers the public transport ticket and get it like tax-free for a certain amount. It's a quite complicated thing, but it has some benefits. And the teleworking was from these things the mostly used measure. And then we asked, wanted to know that how much they are interested on these different modes and the measure. What are the things that they are interested in? And from these results, we got that they are interested like walking and cycling and teleworking things, but also to the electric vehicles, that they have a huge potential there, that the companies are interested in on those. So that's quite interesting as well. And from these results, this was just few examples from the survey. We also had some other questions, of course, we asked. But what we kind of learned from this was that we kind of have to create quite basic information for the companies, that they still need quite basic information how to promote smart mobility and sustainable mobility at the workplaces. And also good examples are needed. We also asked what kind of information needs they do have. So good examples were needed. But also that the really practical examples are needed. So not just saying that, okay, just provide your employees a good place for cycling storage. That's not enough. You have to kind of say what kind of is the good storage for your cycling. What does that means in practice? And also they wanted to know more about the effects of promoting sustainable mobility. So I was saying the learnings. What were the learnings? I don't know if there was anything new with these things, but just that these are the things we have to take now account when marketing these things for the companies. And for the different point of views and what the companies would be interested from this huge cloud of different things that we have been related to the promoting sustainable mobility for workplaces, we kind of put it together for the three main messages. The one is that smart or sustainable mobility improves the well-being at work and decrease the amount of sick leaves. That's one. And one is that the smart mobility and sustainable mobility is a responsible choice. And the third is that favoring the smart and sustainable modes of transport increases the productivity and decreases the cost. So those are the main messages we are now working with. Of course, these are not the messages we are going to like put it in the public, but these are the ideas we want to kind of now focus on.
And sorry, Sarah, can I just ask you? You said that smart mobility is a responsible choice. You mean a responsible choice of a company to choose?
Yeah.
To go for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry. Yeah. And also I now talk about smart mobility. Sorry, I mean smart and sustainable mobility. We just use the smart word in Finland. Smart mobility is the theme. And what we have now done is that we have had this common image for the travel smart in Finland, what we have used in the national coordinator work, but also in the work of the project and the reasons and so on. And now we have this new child of the or the image, how would you say, for the companies, which you can see in the right. There is the yellow mark and there's the guy walking there. So this is specifically done for the workplaces. And with this logo, we also have created a slogan. this is not the official translating thing, I have to say now. But basically the idea of the slogan is like traveling to work is changing and make it possibly already today. So this is the message we like to send now to the workplaces. And the idea there is that the traveling to work is changing. We mean that there is the mobility as a service things going on. There are automated vehicles. The teleworking is increasing. We have many things that kind of affects the way we travel to work. And we kind of like to use that is now like a hot topic kind of thing. We like to use that now also for the purposes of this work. And we want to link this to this workplace mobility management work. And we want to make the idea for the workplaces that it's already possible today to make these good choices. And one thing what we have now realized, I showed you earlier that this picture of the target groups with the employers, the workplaces, service providers, and stakeholders. We have kind of understood that it's not that easy easy case. It's much more complicated, the way we have to work now in this national level. It's not only stakeholders, but also we need communication partners, and also there is a difference between the service providers working with the workplaces and the actual mobility services that should be promoted as well. And coming with the service providers working with the workplaces is not only the ones who work with the transport, it's also the ones who work with the sustainable things, with the environmental systems of the firms, with the health promoting work with the companies. It's a really complex field that has to be taken into account. So yeah, there's many target groups for the work. And as I'm running a bit late with the schedule, maybe. So just a few things in the present state. We kind of wrote down measures for the different actors that we need to do in Finland. This is not only for the national coordinator work, but also the other actors. So we need more cooperation, and we kind of think that we kind of have to set some targets for workplace mobility management. As long as we don't have any legislation or policies for the workplaces, we have to kind of think still that what are the national targets for this work. And then we need many different kinds of measures. Some of them I already mentioned, and then we have to kind of create a positive pressure in all levels of action. Let's say from the legislation to the other things, we need some positive pressure for this topic. And for the work we are now doing in the Motila for the national coordinator, this is just one example how we now try to do the work. We try to create different kind of services for the different target group, and this is the example of the workplace or the employer. So basically, we need something to raise the interest, and then we have to think about how to offer the tools and how to support the action. Or we have to think all these paths, and from the beginning to the end, how we can support the work. And of course, as I said earlier, in these things we don't work alone, not of course, and we are not working with the workplaces directly. So in all of these things, we are taking into account how we can promote the ones who really do the work with the workplaces. But this means like social media and web pages and this kind of things. So basically, now we are working to create these paths and think about what are included on these paths. Yeah. So that was my last slide. That has been a lot of information. I hope you got some ideas about that. And then I wanted to ask if you have any other questions.
Yeah, well, you did a very good job right within the time, so that's really great. Another question from René. He says, are there calculations how much a company can save when they promote sustainable mobility? For example, less lease cars, less sick days, less parking lots, more productivity. Do you have calculations for that?
We have some basic calculation from the companies who rigs the actor who has done the work with the workplaces. But basically, the thing is that we don't. One of the actions or measures we said that should be taken now. It would be more. We should more survey and get the results from these kind of things. We don't have the data so that we could say the workplace right away, like this is how you get from that and this is what you get from that. We just have kind of like basic figures that in that company we have some examples. In that company they got that, and in that company they got that, but we can't say that anything like in a general level. So we would need more this general level things. Yeah.
Okay. And in what way do you you support the people who are working more with the workplaces to make sure that they are able to organize sustainable mobility? But in what way do you also help? Because eventually you need to end up with the employees because they need to change their behavior.
Yeah, that's true. We have understood that, of course, and that was in the first picture. We put it there in the middle because that's the last point. That's what we really make the change. But we have kind of understood that in this huge field, we have to kind of now try to focus on something. And we have decided to focus with the employers and with the stakeholders and these kind of actors, but in the same time keeping in mind that the employees are the ones who really make, and that's what we try to do with all this campaign and all this other work is we kind of try to also get some positive pressure from their side, that they're getting like these ideas that what could the situation be in their workplaces. And that's something what for example Helsinki Tourism Transport had done. They have been used also the idea that the employees can tell that how and what things done in the workplace.
And for companies it's also interesting to know what drives an employee, why an employee is able, why he or she will change their behavior, what their motivation is, or what their goals are.
Sure.
Yeah. That's the next step. You can't do it in one time. I understand. No. Let's see. I don't see any questions. I think you gave a very interesting presentation, Sarah. Thanks very much for that. At this moment, I don't have any questions left too. If any of the participants has any questions left, I would kindly want to ask you to stay online for a few seconds. I'm closing up the webinar, and then you will get a link to answer a few questions, to give some feedback on this webinar. And if you have any questions left, you can answer your questions in the feedback form, and I will make sure that Sarah is getting them so she can get back to you.
Yeah, and I thank everyone who's listening. And in case you have any question of any of these topics, it was a wide topic and a lot of different aspects, but just feel free to contact me as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks very much, Sarah, for your time and your energy in this presentation. Thanks very much. Thank you to all the participants for joining this and for asking your questions. I would want to remind you that announce that on the 15th of November we have a webinar on mobility management for schools and nurseries. So you can write it in your agenda. The registration will follow soon. And for now, have a nice day this afternoon, and well, hope to see you soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.